let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we'll launch a segment for this one because we have your post on X. You said the next 2008 is happening. Party City, Joann's, Forever 21, Big Lots, all collapsing. Do you know about who's a parent company of Billabong and all them?
Oh man, I couldn't tell you off the top.
You know about this one?
Yes, I do. They were part of the 2024 record-breaking bankruptcy collection.
Yeah.
Ah.
So you heard this, right? Because this is.
Oh yeah, I just saw her video actually like 2 days ago.
No. But you heard about Billabong
Oh,
and
Volcom,
Hurley.
Yeah.
Who
I
owned
think even
it?
RVCA filed as well too. Yeah.
Yep, they're all owned by
I was
one
a huge
company.
Fan of them. Yeah.
Who owned them? What was the name of that company? It's a subsidiary of. You know who owns it? There's one company that owned all of those like action sports brands.
Yep.
They declared bankruptcy too, and that was massive for people in the skate industry because these were like core legacy brands. Kind of paid the bills for a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with them going out of business, we saw this. Yeah, with Big Lots. So you're what are you saying, Tiffany? You're saying that this is the next 2008 happening right now.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Can we short it and make $100 million?
I mean, if you shorted like the CL, so one of the things that was scary about 2008 is they repackaged the bad debt and sold it off as derivatives and as CDOs, and then they did synthetic CDOs. They're repackaging all of this debt as something called CLOs. And they're selling it to all the pension funds.
What?
All the pensions have been buying up this debt. That's what's freaking me out the most because the pensions have been buying into private equity in exponentially increasing numbers over the last 10 years because pensions are severely underfunded. Lots of them. I've been talking to Ian about Girl Scouts pension getting bankrupted by private equity and Girl Scouts of America.
Yeah, well, didn't they go woke?
They did.
So we don't care about that one.
Yeah,
Here's
they
something I can
definitely
sympathize
did.
with.
But okay, well, don't
I was
sympathize
kidding,
with
by the
CalPERS.
way. I'm sad to say.
But the Michigan Employees Union, a bunch of the unions that handle like automotive unions, pensions, they're all investing in private equity. And the reason they're doing it is because if you invest in anything with a pension, every time the dividends come every quarter, you have to update what's on your books. But if you invest in private equity, you put the estimated returns for 10 years on your books. So nobody knows how bad it is for 10 years, and you get to hand that off to the next pension manager, and it's their problem.
Okay, so hold on. You got this massively viral video.
Yeah.
It's Party City, Joann's, Forever 21, Big Lots. They're all collapsing.
Yeah.
Are there other companies that are collapsing too?
Hundreds.
Are there ones that have not collapsed yet but will collapse soon?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I mean,
which they
in my opinion, right now, private equity is bankrupting. They're going to short-term gain and then destroy Southwest Airlines.
Is Michael's
I
going?
estimate they'll be
Southwest,
bankrupt in the next year and a half.
Wow.
Because
What was the name of those companies? I'm going to buy some shorts.
Southwest Airlines.
Southwest Airlines.
No, for real?
So everybody's wondering what happened with Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines, they've been trying to say all week, free bags is not in our DNA. Do you know what trademark they own? 2 bags fly free.
Yeah.
They own that trademark and they have defended it and canceled other people's bags fly free trademarks through litigation because it is their DNA.
One of my friends was making remarks. I saw that he tweeted about complaints about Southwest about the baggage stuff.
Well, 1.8 billion in shares got bought up by an activist firm called Elliott Management's private equity firm. And their business is they come in, they buy enough shares to get board seats. And then they come in and they force changes that are bad for the long term for the company, but get short-term gains. Wow. Then they dump their stock and leave the company like bereft.
Wow. Yeah.
Is Michael's going too? Because I love
Michael's will be next.
I love the craft shops. They're good. Jeez.
Is it publicly traded?
It's publicly traded right now, but it was taken back public by a private equity firm that's taken them private and then public twice. And so they're going to get screwed. Like in the game of Monopoly of craft stores, Hobby Lobby will win. If there is a God, they will win.
Let's just super simplify it. Basically what happens is these businesses are cash positive.
Yep.
But they have to pay massive interest rates. Is that it?
It's worse than that. Like if I had, I'm going to borrow this.
Little Tim Pool, are those coasters?
Tim Pool LLC coasters. Okay, this is your business, okay?
All right.
If I buy a house or I buy a car and I take out the loan, my name is on that loan and I owe that loan back. If I'm private equity and I buy a car, that car owns that loan back.
Wait,
okay?
what?
If I'm private equity and I buy Tim Pool LLC, I don't own that loan. My name's not on that loan. I have no liability if I bankrupt that loan. This Tim Pool LLC owes that money back. I don't have to do anything. I just get free money and I stick it on top of here. So Tim Pool was successful. They were making money and I said, I bet I could get more money out of that. But I'm never going to pay for it. Tim Pool's going to pay for himself. So I borrow money and I make the Tim Pool LLC owe the money back, not me. And then as soon as I get there,
You keep the money that was borrowed.
no, they don't borrow them. I mean, they give that money to whoever they bought it from. And now Tim Pool Company owns the money back when they were free and clear before that. Now what I'm going to do,
I'm still not following. Why take the loan out?
because Tim Pool is owned by Tim Pool, and I want to own Tim Pool LLC.
So someone wants to buy the company.
The private equity firm wants to buy it.
So a private equity firm wants to buy it. They get a loan, but the debt liability is on the company, not the purchaser.
Not the purchaser, and they have no liability.
So basically, the purchaser then owns the company, makes a bunch of profit, lets the loan default.
Worse. So not only do they buy the company, but they're going to force the company to sign a contract with them to be the manager, the advisor, and possibly have some kind of other financial role. So now the company owes me money every month as their advisor. Could be $1 million, could be $100 million. So I'm going to start funneling the wealth out of that company to me. Second, I'm going to sell all the land that all their stores are bought on. I'm going to sell all of it out from under them, and I'm going to lease it back to them. And I'm going to dividend all that money to myself. So now I'm literally strip mining every bit of wealth. Now I'm going to take all the assets they have. All the assets they have in their warehouses. I'm going to sell that to a liquidator. So now they have to buy every month and they don't have any cushion. Okay, so I'm going to sell that to a liquidator and I'm going to dividend that back to myself. At the same time, I'm going to make a bunch of cuts so their customer service is going to drop, their sales are going to go down. And whatever's left, I'm going to dividend that to myself. And at the same time, they're still owing all this money. Now they're leasing back the land they owned before. So they have another bill they didn't anticipate. I am expeditiously increasing the rate of which they're going to hit bankruptcy.
So wait. They're breaking it apart and selling it off piece by piece, collecting as much as they can, and then leaving a shipwreck.
Leaving a shipwreck that the American taxpayers pay for, and that we pay all of the, like, if you look at Joann's or Party City or any of these are 250,000 people in the last 3 months that are going to be unemployed.
Jeez.
We now have, you're talking about 100,000 anchor stores and parking lots that are going to be empty.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm conspiracy-minded, but this is orchestrated to make sure that if Trump got elected, he would be faced with a massive collapse that would obstruct his ability to operate.
It's funny you should mention that. Did you happen to notice 4 weeks ago when Trump started saying he was going to close the carried interest loophole? It's the only thing that allows private equity to make money. And he has to get ahead of this because he sees it coming. He needs to say he did something positive.
Why doesn't he come out and just talk about all the things that just went down and say, I have been in office for now 2 months and we have just uncovered something that's been occurring? When did this start is the question. Because if it started in his first term, then he's on the hook too.
It started earlier than that.
Interesting.
Private equity, when Jimmy Carter was in office, only 35 people could invest. And over that, you had to report to the SEC. We had to see what was happening. Reagan loosened that a little bit. Clinton, when he repealed Glass-Steagall, took most of the guardrails off and expanded it to where it went from 100 people could invest to 1,000 people. He had a bipartisan Congress. It passed with 98%. It's not a one-party problem. Then it got to Obama. All the guardrails came off. Everything. You could have unlimited investors, unlimited amounts of money, and nobody could see. Our SEC couldn't see what was going on. They could be using the same collateral, the same assets to collateralize 50 lines of debt and creating a bubble. We wouldn't know. We have no idea what's going on. It's a black box.
I bet it's worse than that.
I agree.
This is probably, here's what you're probably looking at. There's the tip of a tentacle flopping around and you're pointing to it. Yeah. But if you follow that tentacle back, there's like a giant squid monster, Federal Reserve, and whatever it's got going on.
So what's the incentive how does the private equity firm get the authority to even start breaking up the company in the first place? The company that, for instance, in your example, Tim Pool, the company, did they agree to this?
So there's lots of ways they can acquire a company, but the easiest way for them to do it is to acquire enough shares or make an offer that
like
it's publicly traded,
takeover?
that they're required to sell it to them.
Okay, yeah.
Because they have to serve the shareholders. So they take it back private and they just start auctioning it off to the highest bidder.
Yeah, so it's hostile takeover and then just start ripping it apart. I mean, that makes sense.
In the case of the company that, you guys don't know this, but I've been fighting a private equity company in court for the last 4 years. That's how I started all this. And in our instance, it was a hostile takeover. They acquired enough shares from multiple different parties that they were able to force out the founders and take over the company.
A little dirty.
Well, yeah, it's...
Dude, this makes hostile takeovers seem super chill and
really
nice and friendly and accountable.
So Michael's is private, right?
It was taken back private again, but I thought they went back to IPO. I have to look.
So they go back and forth, you're saying?
They take them back and
MIK
forth.
maybe?
Okay. And is that just to sell more off of what they have than the first time
It's so
around?
it can change. It changes hands between different private equity firms. That's called selling something on the secondaries market.
Okay.
In the case of Joann's, they took it public and took it private 3 times.
Wow.
And each time it was strip mined a little more and a little more. But COVID gave Joann's this amazing boost.
Yeah.
Because people got hobbies.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to the average person right now sitting at home and they just got back from the grocery store with some milk, bread, and eggs? Are they going to lose their job, or is this going to cause housing to crash? What happens?
Well, private equity firms are the largest holder of single-family homes in the United States.
Really?
And most of those were also acquired, I've now learned, using back rate floating debt, which is this adjustable rate debt. So I do think it's driving up home prices, and I think it's doing it exponentially.
Is this related to like the BlackRock, Blackstone kind of thing?
Blackstone is the private equity firm that has the largest single-family housing homes portfolio in the U.S. In the world, actually.
So are they going to default or what?
I mean, I don't think they're going to default because all of those homes they're running out. They're just going to keep raising the prices so people can't afford them.
Don't they just get their money from the Federal Reserve and have infinite money?
I mean, yeah, they do.
Okay, so we're good. Whatever. I mean, you can't go to Joann's anymore, but I didn't go there anyway, so what do I care?
I
I
just
like
think,
making T-shirts, man. T-shirts are fun to make.
We do love making T-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? I have a sewing room that's got about 10,000 yards of fabric in it, and I don't know where I'm going to buy.
I actually, this is bad, but I'm kind of wondering what the net positive might actually be. We need a return to Main Street. We don't want big box stores anymore.
Okay.
These are bad for small towns. And so if there is an opportunity, I understand a bad thing is happening. We don't want a bad thing to happen. But I would recommend individuals who are concerned, like right now, your opportunities, if you were a fan of Joann's, open up a small store because guess what? You're about to get 9 million new customers.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And on Main Street.
Main Street is, in my opinion, so like I have my Maha water bottle today, but normally I have one that says "In small business we trust," and I say that with my whole chest. Small businesses are the most effective way that any normal American can fight private equity in the shoes they're standing in, but private equity got wind of that and they figured that out, and so they're targeting small businesses now in greater numbers than they ever have before.
What are they doing?
So like on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s podcast, the first time I was on there, I told him about a group called Champions Group. I talked about it on InfoWars today too. On Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s podcast, I told him they're acquiring large swaths of an entire industry. Champions Group is HVAC. And in the Southwest, they've bought up like 85 HVAC small businesses. But they didn't just buy them.
What the?
They didn't just buy it. They paid for the name, image, likeness of the former owners so that they could keep looking like they were a small business.
Yeah.
Then they installed unified software across all of the thousands of trucks. And so no matter who you call to come look at your frozen air conditioning or condensation line, they're each going to quote you a 3 times higher price than they ever did before. Yep. And they're going to say, oh, I mean, you don't have to trust me. Call these other guys. And everyone comes out and they're all charging you more money all of a sudden. Then they say, wait for it. Oh. They say, don't worry, you can't afford this. I know it's 3 times as much as it used to be, COVID, inflation, greedflation, whatever. They're going to say, don't worry, we'll finance it for you. And they'll hand you an iPad like this. And they'll say, just sign right here. They're not going to hand you a truth in lending statement like they're required to by law. They're going to hand you this iPad. And you're going to squiggle it, and you're 85 years old, and it says $100 a month. And you're like, oh, I can't afford it, but I'll try. And then on your first missed payment, they're going to exercise what was in there that was a lien on your house, and they're going to take your house from you.
Holy moly.
You're going to own that too.
Holy moly.
I'll just buy a
A
fan.
lien on your
That sounds
house.
terrible.
Yeah, for
It is
back-
so
Buy a
hard.
fan.
It's so hard to understand how hard it is to even find out what a small business is anymore.
Guys,
We haven't had a
is it
Doomcast
really
episode
so
in a while.
bad to just live in the pod and eat the bugs?
Right? Like,
This is my first Doomcast.
Stop
episode.
resisting, Raymond. How about we build a pod and you can live in it?
I mean, if it's
And
big enough for
we'll
me
give
and
you
my
the
kitty
bugs.
cats.
right?
Okay, here's my stipulation. I will live in the pod, but it has to be on a 40-foot tall steel post that I can climb to. And then I'm basically looking back. I got to get good music, a TV on the bottom of the pod, and I will sleep in the pod, but I'll live and work around it.
Do you have is your pole, your post, does it have like things to grab onto?
you climb up it.
Or you got to shimmy it up like old school? Like, how you getting up there, Tim?
I like the shimmy idea.
I mean, it's
get a
good,
belt.
It's a good workout.
You throw a belt around it.
Oh, okay.
You ever climb with the
Okay.
belt?
Yeah.
That way you don't got to worry about intruders.
You'd
Now,
be
come on, admit it. You guys would love to live on this big tower where you're in this pod with music, You got a TV and it's glass and it's looking up at the sky. Imagine that during a thunderstorm.
Ooh.
And you're just laying down in this comfy little pod. And that's amazing.
No thanks.
I don't want to eat the bugs though. But most people are already eating cochineal mites in their red dyes.
Oh God.
My
You know about that,
talk
right?
about this endlessly. Every time their friends have a nerds up, they're like, "That's bugs. That's bugs." Every time.
Acheta. Have you seen the acheta popping up in ingredients? Cricket.
Yes.
Acheta, it means cricket.
That's the
They're
cricket
blowing up.
protein,
So
right?
look. I was at
Lately.
I was at a grocery store, and we were looking at a bunch of products, and I was like, it says red 40, it says yellow 5, and I'm like, what other company is allowed to obfuscate what their product is? Imagine if instead of like, I don't know, sodium benzoate, they just put safety seal. It's like, oh, it's got safety seal in it. That's right. Or you know, like freshener. Food safety freshener. Like, why are we legally allowing them to change the name of tartrazine to yellow? Cochineal mites. You know all about this.
They call it carmine color.
Carmine.
That's the name
color.
they use for it. Carmine color, and it is a parasite that eats blood, and it turns whatever water it touches bright red.
Wow.
And that is what's in Nerd Ropes. And my kids literally go
What,
from candy
really?
to candy. Carmine color. Look it up.
Nerd ropes.
Yep. Nerd Ropes candy.
That's like
You're already eating the
love
bugs.
ropes.
We are eating the bugs.
That's like Ozempic, which has that poison.
Yo,
tongue.
no. Hold on. We're gonna dig into this because take a look at this. It says Nerd ropes contain color additives. That includes Oh, look at
ya.
that, dude.
Told ya.
Wow. Hey, look at that, bro. With the ban, so West Virginia banned artificial dyes. RFK Jr. is calling for the nationwide. About a dozen other states are doing this. Nerds ropes are gone. No more, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, let me pull up Carmine color.
I literally ate
Show
them
the
last
bugs.
weekend.
It's so gross.
I love
So
nerds.
gross. Just show what they look like.
Man.
All right. So first, nerds, you can't sue me because I Googled this right here on the internet and it says there's carmine color in your nerd ropes. I looked up carmine and I'm just taking a look at what is that?
That's the insect.
Oh God.
What?
That's what they look like.
It's a cluster.
Female Dactylopius cochineal insects were used for their red coloring as early as 700 BC. The word carmine has been used as color since 1799. So what is this? Carmine, also called cochineal, when it is extracted from the cochineal insect. Cochineal extract, crimson lake or carmine lake, is a pigment of bright red color obtained from the aluminum complex derived from carminic acid. Is it possible they're getting carmine color from carminic acid?
No, they grind up the bug.
Oh, you're right. Carminic acid is derived from the cochineal insect.
Just
They literally, and they do it like you can grind them up with a knife, and it's the brightest red you can add to anything. And they're putting it in all the candy and all of the kids' drinks.
You know what's really funny is everybody kept saying you will eat the bugs, but people were eating the bugs already.
You
They
are
were already-
eating.
You are eating the bugs.
to be fair, I would rather have any of these bug-based dyes than the yellow that comes
Oh,
from
yes. Yeah.
from sludge.
Have you
whatever.
guys seen where they get the fake vanilla?
Oh, it's from like a beaver's butt, right?
A
Wait,
beaver's
beaver's
like,
butt?
Yeah.
sex gland,
I don't think it's a sex gland.
something like that.
It's like a scent gland or
It's
something.
a scent gland for their mating ritual.
How many beavers are out there that get that color out? What are they? This like.
That's the
Okay,
artificial
okay.
vanilla.
Yeah, it comes from the beaver butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll spend
Vanillin.
money on real
So
vanilla.
bad.
Yeah,
Beaver
mass-producing
butt.
beavers.
Does vanilla flavoring actually come from beaver butts? Okay, it's from Smithsonian. Despite internet claims, castoreum is rarely used as a food flavoring. Oh, well, there you go.
Rarely used to.
I got,
Hey,
guys,
as
I got to be
of
honest.
2 years ago.
I will eat that beaver.
Well, sure.
Fair enough.
I'm not mad about that.
The women of the world support your.
This is a naughty show. I will literally hunt that small animal, and I will properly gut and prepare it for a fine meal.
I mean, you can just get regular real vanilla.
Yep.
You know,
It's amazing, right?
You know, it's
Just
they're
costs money.
from beans, and you know.
We got ice cream downstairs that's like the most natural flavored ice cream of
Do we?
vanilla. We do. Yeah, it's natural. It's called natural vanilla. It only has like 7 ingredients compared to
I
everyone
like
else
ice
that has like
cream.
15 and 30.
Love it.
I like ice cream.
It's
a lot.
downstairs in the. It does have gum in it though. for some weird reason.
Whatever.
That's going to be a clip all over X.
Yeah.
I can see everyone.
Oh, your beaver?
Everyone's already posting.
I would eat that beaver. Tim Pool.
Simple.
Well, you just said it now too, so.
Yeah, I did.
Let's see. I asked ChatGPT, what is carmine color? Carmine is a deep red color made from carminic acid, a natural dye derived from crushed cochineal insects, tiny beetles native to Central and South America. It's used in food, cosmetics, and textiles to give a rich red or pink hue. So if you see carmine or cochineal extract, yes, it's insects.
I know that the whole eat the bugs thing that people say, oh, I will not eat the bugs and I will not live in the pod. I personally, and maybe someone else will disagree, but I don't feel like, having insects as an ingredient is the same thing as like being fed like just liquefied bugs as your only source of nutrients, which is what I understand you will eat the bugs to mean. So, but that's just me,
Bro, so what people don't understand, they think you will eat the bugs means that the government's going to come to your house or you're going to go to the grocery store and they're going to be like, here's a bag of cockroaches, eat them. What they're already doing is they're taking acheta protein, they call it. They take crickets, pulverize them, take the little bits, give it a new fancy name, and then mix it with other things. You're going to the grocery store and you're like, oh, what's this high protein cheese puff? And then you're like, what's the ingredients? It's cornmeal, acheta, cheese, milk, salt, paprika. That looks pretty good. And then you're eating it and you're going, nom, 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 nom. And then someone's like, you're eating cricket, bro. And you're like, what do you mean? No, I'm not. I'm eating cornmeal and acheta. That's right. They changed the name.
So
It's brilliant.
So back to your thing, should be illegal, right?
I think so.
Putting in their fake names.
Yep.
They can call it whatever. They can call it fluffy sauce, but it's really you're eating like turf.
I mean, is even acheta like the real name? Like it's crickets.
So here's something funny. People are posting on YouTube, fix the audio. Guys, that's YouTube, not us. People are posting, they refreshed and it's working again. That's YouTube, not us.
You always have to refresh. If you're new here, you shouldn't be new here. By the way,
People watching on Rumble are having no problem. Yeah. It's almost like YouTube is intentionally sabotaging our show.
Well, they don't want to talk about beaver butts.
No, they don't want us to exist on YouTube. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.